not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
These are the women that Mark Cuban chooses to associate with. These are the women that Mark Cuban thinks are smart. These are the women that Mark Cuban is mentally attracted to. These are the women that Mark Cuban thinks are influential. Shouldn't be all that surprising that a doofus like Mark Cuban is attracted to the yentas. What an embarrassment. I don't know how Mark Cuban does it. I don't know how he continues to show his face on camera. What the hell is going on with the NBA? No wonder Major League Baseball is overtaking the NBA in popularity. This is what happens when you allow your league to be infected with the fungus. This is what happens when stage 4 cases of OMB, Orange Man Bad. This is what happens when those cases remain untreated. But KC, Mark Cuban is under the care of Woke Memorial Hospital. He is being treated by their best physician, pretend Dr. Jill Biden. Yeah, that's my point. In order for the symptoms of OMB to be contained, you need to be treated by an actual doctor, a real doctor. You can't be treated by a pretend doctor who plays the role on television. Just look at what has happened in the NBA since the regular season started, and keep in mind, season started a week ago. Greg Popovich, who has maintained his status as an elite loser by losing a shitload of games over the last few years. Last weekend, Paul, he went on a 15-minute tirade against the Trumper. Now, this happened during a press conference that was supposed to be about professional basketball. Instead of talking about hoops, Paul, he decided to talk about oranges. Couple of days later, Doc Rivers, who is competing with Greg Popovich in the category of biggest loser in the NBA. Doc Rivers has fucked things up so bad in Milwaukee that Giannis is about to request a trade. Giannis, one of the most humble, mild-mannered dudes in the league. Giannis, the guy who wants to finish his career in Milwaukee. Doc Rivers has made things so miserable, Giannis is looking to get the hell out of there. Earlier this week, Doc Rivers, he attempted to dump on the Trumper. I don't understand. If this guy was so great, how come 80 million people voted against him? I don't know if you know this, Doc. And by the way, what the hell is with these deacons at Woke United Methodist wanting to be doctors? You've got Jill Biden traveling around the country pretending to be a doctor. You got Glenn Rivers wanting to be called Doc. How in the hell do you get a nickname like Doc out of Glenn? Well, KC, maybe he's a doctor of basketball. Well, why can't he win games? Doc Rivers has destroyed every franchise that he has been involved with. The only one he didn't manage to destroy is the Boston Celtics, and that's only because they wouldn't allow him to. But anyway, I don't know if Doc Rivers knows this, but since he wants to talk about votes, the candidate that he is supporting, Cackling Cam Harris, she has received exactly 0 votes. Earlier this morning on the second channel, we talked about LeBron James once again fabricating stories of racism, begging and pleading with his lonely male followers to vote for Cam Harris. Our democracy's at stake. Please vote for the woman who will make your life miserable. You might pay more for eggs, but at least we'll have our democracy. Yeah, we're not supposed to have a democracy now. We're supposed to have a republic. Now we've got Mark Cuban yenting it up with the yentas on The View and showing American women exactly why they should be voting for the Trumper. Now, all this has happened in the past 6 or 7 days. I wonder why NBA ratings are in the pooper. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Like I said, we talked about LeBron James this morning on the second channel. Haven't subscribed just yet? Click the link in the description below and go check it out. Yesterday morning, Mark Cuban fulfilled his lifelong dream of becoming a Yenta. For the past few years, Mark Cuban has been attending Sunday school classes on Sunday mornings at Woke United Methodist. When they are not reading and studying the Woke Bible, Mark Cuban, he uses that free time to speak with his fellow parishioners. They shared these amazing stories with him about visiting the Yentas on The View, how their lives were forever changed after seeing the whoopee cushion hike her leg, unleashing Category 5 winds of her powerful boodle breeze. Mark Cuban heard heartwarming stories about parishioners no longer having to use the tanning bed to disguise their white privilege. Once they spent an hour exposed to the radiance of Sun Hostin, Asuncion, their skin was forever tanned. Their white privilege was disguised. Mark Cuban has been told about the unbelievable performances of the great pretender, Alyssa the Farrah Griffin. How she pretends to be conservative. How she acts like a normal person. How she successfully indoctrinates the naive while normal people think she is full of shit. After hearing all these stories, Mark Cuban finally committed to making the journey, the voyage. He decided to travel to the woke equivalent of Mecca to pray to the god of victims and experience the flatulence that can only be provided by the Yentas. But before he left for his journey, the Sunday school teacher, he gave Mark Cuban an assignment. He, she, they, maybe them asked Mark Cuban to investigate. They wanted him to determine the identities of the two anonymous women on The View. Unfortunately, Mark Cuban, he failed to identify them. But the trip, it was not a total failure, because during his appearance, Mark Cuban did manage to piss off every normal woman in America. Watch for yourself.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women. Ever.
What was that? Why was Mark Cuban speaking to the Yentas from his spaceship? If you watch carefully, you can see the Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman in the background trying to seduce Captain Kirk. Seriously though, I thought Mark Cuban wanted to get up close and personal. I thought he wanted to experience the boodle breeze. How in the hell can he do that when the breeze is being filtered by the air compressor on his spaceship? According to Mark Cuban, the Trumper, he is intimidated by strong, intelligent women. First of all, let's take a look at woke women. Then we will compare them to women who support the Trumper. You tell me which you prefer. Woke women would obviously include the women on The View. Leah Thomas, Rachel Levine, they are proud to be woke women. Hell, they are so proud to be woke women that they change their genders to become one. Rachel Maddow, The Wicked Weave, Joy Reid, Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo! The entire primetime lineup of huge embarrassing failures at CNN, the increasingly delusional AOC, who continues to inhabit a mental space that the rest of us will never find. What about Liz Cheney? All right, I can't handle any more woke women. Let's talk about the women who choose to associate with the Trumper. Tulsi Gabbard, Sage Steele, Riley Gaines, Danica Patrick, Kayleigh McEnany, Amber Rose. Now you tell me which you prefer. And speaking of Liz Cheney, did you see the latest media lie that they are pushing this morning? The Trumper was speaking with Tucker Carlson, and he was talking about Liz Cheney and her love of war. Ooh, I love war. War is so good for business as long as I don't have to get personally involved. The Trumper was making the point that the lizard wouldn't be so in love with war if she was on the front lines, or if someone she cared about was on the front lines. Now, how did the manifestors of misinformation in the mainstream media interpret those comments? This man is dangerous. He wants to put our beloved lizard in front of a firing squad. No, this cannot happen. We can't lose Liz Cheney. She's one of the few pretend Republicans who support us. The biggest threat to this country is the mainstream media. It's not Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is just some doofus who bit into the shit sandwich. The biggest threat to this country is the media. They have purposely created this environment where you can't believe anything. What is the truth? No one knows. Who can be trusted? No one knows. Although most of us can see through the bullshit as we get older, there's a lot of people who can't, especially this younger generation. And look, it's not their fault. When I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, I was naive. I was easily swayed by the media. And back then, the media was still somewhat honest. Today, the media, they have no problem admitting that they are full of shit. We've got this kid on the channel Discord server. Well, not a kid. He's a young man, 18, 19 years old. Good kid, good kid. He gives me a perspective that I wouldn't have otherwise because at 39 years old, I am not hanging around kids in their teens and 20s. But he said something this morning that kind of surprised me. He put a bunch of propaganda from the mainstream media in the chat, and he said that it's been a bad week for the Trumper. Now, here I am thinking that it's been a bad week for Cam Harris. Biden is running around calling people garbage. Mark Cuban is insulting normal American women. The jobs number, it was released this morning. Think they expected to create 100, maybe 120,000 jobs. They created 12,000. But it just goes to show you how easily we can be swayed. For weeks, the media has seemed to be against Cam Harris. All of a sudden, 4 days before the election, and now they are claiming that Cam is gaining momentum while the Trumper is losing it. And they're claiming that Cam is expected to win. I tried to explain to him that the media could have been pretending to be against Cam to motivate their base to get out and vote, and now they are predicting that Cam will win to soften the blow if she actually does. Who in the hell knows their reasoning, but the agenda with the media never changes. The media's only purpose is to indoctrinate. Nothing that we see in the media can be trusted. But anyway, give me your thoughts. Mark Cuban fulfills his lifelong dream of becoming a Yenta. He insults women who support the Trumper. He insinuates that Trump is intimidated by strong women. Will that have a negative impact on Cam Harris? Will it have a negative impact on the NBA? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.